20 minutes ago, we just started getting word that
Richard Mall, dead.
Shocking. Star of Friends. No, no.
Night Court.
No, Night Court.
But seriously, folks.
Yeah. About 20 minutes ago, star of Friends Matthew Perry died in his jacuzzi at his Pacific Palisades home.
Kind of a nice way to go.
Yeah, that's people
there are
actually
worse ways to die. You know, people died in World War I, and the mustard gas.
That is true. I mean, dying in a, Malibu mansion in a hot tub with a view of the ocean, that's got to be a pretty good way.
It's poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are worse ways to die, for sure.
But he was way too young. Let's be honest.
54 years old, 1969 to 2023. That is
young man, super talented. You name it. He had everything going for him in his life.
Yeah.
And not everything's about money, but he was making something like $100 million a year.
Yeah.
No, the cast of Friends, still to this day, I don't know, this is going to be an interesting development to see what happens with the money that's supposed to be going to Matthew Perry from, the Friends royalties. They were guaranteed $20 million a year in perpetuity.
Perpetuity sounds so crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's actually but they still were getting, to this day, $20 million a year.
So maybe there was a specific line in the contract that says, until your death. And it doesn't go on until a trust for your family or anyone else.
I'm surprised executives at NBC Universal weren't, picking them off.
Yeah, taking them out.
To save those $20 million a year for all those.
So his family doesn't get it? The estate?
Well, that's me and Mark were talking about it a second ago. We don't know if it's still going to go to a trust or if it's like the second he dies, that's it.
Yeah.
Because obviously news of this death is going to create massive amounts of views on Netflix, which I believe is where Friends is located right now.
Is it on Peacock?
It might be Peacock.
Peacock would make more sense. I think it actually sunsetted on Netflix like a couple of years ago. And they're like, all right, your time in the sunshine is done. The Mr. Sunshine.
One of his lesser-known shows.
Mr.
Sunshine.
Mr.
I can
Sunshine,
talk.
yeah. He did try to follow up the success with other shows. Like, 30 on the Sunset Strip or something? Or
No, it was called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip that aired at the same time as 30 Rock.
I was thinking of 30 Rock, yeah.
Both behind the scenes at a comedy show, and his was written by Aaron Sorkin, and it failed to launch.
Yeah.
Nobody liked it.
Sorkin hot off the newsroom.
Yeah.
Well, before the newsroom, but yeah. Hot off the West Wing.
Yeah, well, I can't go wrong there.
But, there's something more dramatic about seeing the president work through world conflicts and then seeing writers doing coke.
Yeah.
Talking about what dick jokes to throw in a TV show.
Yeah.
It was less interesting on Studio 60 than the White House.
Yeah. Matthew Perry was the snarky, kind of witty guy on Friends.
Yeah.
Could I be any more snarky?
Yeah.
He invented that phrase. Could I be any more this?
Yeah.
I think he was like in the first scene of the pilot or something. 'Cause remember he was stuck in the ATM in the pilot with some knockout blonde, and there was like a power outage and he was stuck in there. I think that was the pilot. So
I don't remember. I wasn't much of a Friends watcher.
Me neither, but I do remember it starting up, and I was like, could this show be any better?
And in his book, Matthew Perry claimed that he invented an entire style of comedy that was popular in the 1990s.
Yeah, he was like that guy in The Office that is just like, he always has that perfect witty thing to say, like, could this lunch be any worse?
Yeah.
And a detachment.
Yes.
Like he doesn't want to be there.
He always had that kind of very waspy kind of look and feel. You said he was Canadian.
Well, yeah, he is American and Canadian. He spent a lot of time in Canada and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He was born in Williamstown, Massachusetts, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Western Mass.
Yeah.
Williams College, and right next door, the shitty state school that I went to, North Adams State.
That's where my sister went for like a semester. It was North Adams, but then it turned into another school, right?
MCLA, Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts.
That town, speaking of spooky towns, like North Adams, that's a fucking spooky place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And North Adams was like better than the actual town of Adams, which was like the scarier part.
Adams was like the dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he moved to Canada where his mom served as press secretary to Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau.
Wow.
Really?
And then his mom married Keith Morrison from Dateline.
What?
Wow. Which is who Bill Hader makes fun of.
Well, that
Yeah.
that must have been wild.
So excited when a death happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bill Hader's impersonation of him is better than Morrison doing himself.
Yeah. And then Perry's dad lived in Los Angeles. And so when he was in his teenage years, he moved to Los Angeles.
That's a crazy life as a kid, just
Yeah.
going to LA all of a sudden, like that's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying that he probably died of an overdose, but as of right now, what we're being told is that he had a heart attack in his jacuzzi and that there were no drugs found in his house.
Yeah.
Mark's a little bit more cynical on that, saying they had a fucking cleanup crew.
Man, I'm a little skeptical. Well, you're the one that said it was like a Ray Donovan crew or something.
Yeah.
You never know. Well, we learned in the Heath Ledger episode that sometimes there are some people around who, will do some cleaning up. Like the first call.
Get the Olsons on the horn.
The first call is not to 911. It's to
the
someone
Olsen
else.
twins.
Yeah. I bet you the Olsen twins have like a militia on call if they need it. You know?
Yeah.
And this first call was to Lisa Kudrow.
Nice.
Allegedly, we don't know anything.
Smelly cat. I liked Friends. It was
Okay.
kind of just like something to watch before you just got to Seinfeld. It wasn't like the main attraction.
Something to watch before you got to the single guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you turn the TV off for a half hour.
Yeah. That was the real thing anchoring down must-see TV was the single guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a can't miss. It was called Must See TV in the 90s. That combo in those two time slots
Yeah.
of Friends and Seinfeld.
that could make shows. So if they're good enough, clearly the single guy, as much as they shoved it down our throats, it was not good enough to actually get off the ground on its own.
Yeah. Friends was clearly the biggest thing he was on. Like you said, Mr. Sunshine tried. He later co-developed and starred in the revival of the CBS sitcom The Odd Couple, portraying
Oh yeah.
Oscar.
They've been trying to bring that back like every 10 years.
Yeah.
And he did a show called Go On about a support group for people that lost a loved one.
Oh.
Doesn't that sound funny?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
title of the show is the opposite of what anyone said about it. Like, oh, have you seen the show Go On? Go On. People be like, stop talking. I hate this. Okay.
Go off
it was-
the
yeah,
air,
go off,
Kyle,
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Get off the air.
Get out of here.
And there's a piece of trivia. He and Michael J. Fox are the only two guys that had the #1 TV show and the #1 movie at the same time.
Are you trying to tell me that, what is it? Not the longest
The
yard.
whole 10 yards?
The
the whole 10 yards.
No, the whole 9 yards.
Whole
Oh, that
9
was
yards.
the first
yeah.
one, yeah.
The whole 10 yards is the sequel that nobody, literally nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Isn't the writer of that the one that he did Game of Thrones, David Benioff?
Oh, I do not know that.
Can you look up the whole 9 yards who actually wrote that?
Sure.
I thought he was like,
Mitchell Kapner.
never mind. I'm
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
You're starting a rumor.
I remember David Benioff's wife is Amanda Peet, actually, and she is in the whole 9 yards and 10 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Well,
whole 9
bothered-
yards, starring Bruce Willis, who is not doing well right now. He's apparently completely nonverbal, which is brutal to hear.
So is Matthew Perry.
Yeah, this is a curse of the whole
Oh,
9
boy.
yards. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
That was
Jesus
dark.
Too soon?
Christ.
Yeah, very too soon.
25 minutes too soon?
And then Mr. Delphi Killer lookalike Kevin Pollak was also in this movie. So-
Well, this is like the curse. Michael Clark Duncan dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Matthew Perry dead. Bruce Willis in kind of rough shape.
Amanda Pete's career.
Dead.
yeah, well, I was going to say Rosanna Arquette's career, dead.
Whoa.
What bothers me about the sequel, though, is that it's not even a phrase. The whole 9 yards, that's a phrase.
Yeah.
The whole 10 yards is not a phrase.
Yeah, that's true.
Why didn't they just call it the whole 9 yards 2? Or another 9 yards?
Hey, here's some more yards for you. Hey, you on the couch. Me? Yeah, you.
There's a couple more yards.
Couple more yards. Well, there's one more yard because so now it's 19 yards so far.
Yeah. Well,
the 20th yard we're waiting for.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So that was number one. Friends was number one. And for Michael J. Fox, it was Back to the Future and Family Ties.
Oh,
Wow.
I thought you were talking about Spin City. Different.
Well,
Yeah.
that was on the air alongside Friends on a different network.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Want to correct one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Friends is streaming. If you have a subscription to Hulu or Amazon Prime, you can
What?
see it. It's on Max.
Oh.
And you can see it for free on the TBS app. So if you have
Okay.
subscriptions to any of those, it's free.
Everything
it.
is so confusing with like all this. Like I sound like such a like an elderly person. I'm like it's so confusing these days. But there is like where's Yellowstone? Like where are these shows? Where's
Yeah.
this? It's
I don't
airing
know.
on this week, but next week it's on Paramount Plus.
I don't know where.
be any more confusing.
Yeah. See, that guy was on to something.
Hey, I'm trying to get a joke out here.
Hey,
Let's hear.
I don't know where I am sometimes.
I would rather it not
Okay,
be
hit
here.
Oh my god! You really had something locked and loaded there.
It's like,
You had a piece of gold that you were holding down there.
like I'm Rumpelstiltskin over here,
Yeah.
twirling some gold.
Rumpled no skin.
Yeah.
Well, to get serious for a moment, I think that it's interesting. This guy, who you would assume had it all, hit TV show, 20 million a year now. So many years after its run,
Yeah.
he was unhappy pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he just had a predilection to drugs. Like he had other health issues related to his drug use. His colon burst from opioid overuse,
Yeah.
causing him to spend 2 weeks in a coma. 5 months hospitalized and to use a colostomy bag for 9 months.
And that
Wow.
was relatively recent, right?
He had a 2% chance to live, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who does opiates for a long time, like the biggest thing about that is that I mean, not
It
the
fucks
biggest
with
thing,
your
but
stomach.
yeah, one of the
Yeah.
things is that you're constipated chronically. So yeah, he got a perforated small intestine from all the compacted shit that he had inside of him.
Yeah, this is only a couple of years ago. This
Yeah.
isn't like, 1996 or anything.
Yeah, his
2018.
addiction began in 1997 after a jet ski accident, and he became addicted to Vicodin, and then that eventually made him, susceptible to alcohol abuse, which kind of annoyed people he was working with because he would show up hungover all the time to the Friends set. So
Oh, really?
yeah. In 2000, he was hospitalized with pancreatitis due to alcohol abuse, and that's something that can happen with pill abuse as well. So
Man.
there was a lot of fallout personally and health-wise for him.
And it
because of all that.
affected his career in Serving Sarah, the movie he did with Austin Powers, Elizabeth Hurley.
Yes.
He was so incoherent that he had to go back and redub his lines.
Wow. I've never seen that one. I'd be interested to go back and see if you can tell.
I watched it. It's bad.
Does it look like a Hong Kong like fucking martial arts movie?
It's a lifeless movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
my
even mean
God.
it like
you guys are messed up.
Yikes.
I'm usually the darkest one on this. You guys
Cripes.
are really sickos today.
that. And let's check out that clip we have from Primetime Live when Diane Sawyer interviewed him not even a year ago.
Wow. It's that close.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Because he was promoting his book called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing.
Serving Sarah, 4% approval rate on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Man,
So
that's the lowest thing I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
It earns every percentage
They're
point.
they're doing
You
like Thelma numbers on there.
You can only get 3 points lower.
Or Velma, that's the name.
Oh, Velma, yeah.
Yeah.
You thought they did a standalone movie with just Thelma? With
That's gotta
Just
be.
her dead in a car.
I still think that's better than the whole 10 yards got.
Yeah.
Mom? Oh, it's Diane Sawyer.
Oh, that Matthew Perry. Really wonderful to see you.
Please come in.
Matthew Perry is 53 years old, but he knows most of us will always remember when we first saw him.
Okay, who wants light cheese and who wants dark cheese?
Chandler Bing, played by an actor who was effortlessly so fast and original. Friends, lovers, and the big terrible thing. You start with a thunderclap. First page. Hi, my name is Matthew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead.
Yeah.
your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone. Because alone, you lose to the disease. And now I finally feel okay and feel like I've got some strength.
He doesn't sound great.
No, and I watched that entire interview at the time, and I hate to say it, but I didn't think he had long for this world.
Really?
Based on that colon explosion incident, where he had a 2% chance of surviving, was it 2%?
But like what long of a span is that 2%? You know, it's still like just because he survived that week doesn't mean, you know, he survived.
Yeah, because he also looked nothing like himself.
No, yeah.
In that interview and in his whole book tour.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sad because you could just tell that he was very weak.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was on Bill Maher. He didn't look great there, but he told some interesting stories about like his drug days. He told that crazy story of where he would go to like open houses and just start looking through like the pill draws and stuff for like for drugs when he was really desperate for it. And it's like just how down and out he really got. It's like crazy.
Yeah, because he figured people weren't thinking, oh, I think Chandler Bing is going to rob us.
Is raiding my medicine cabinet right now. Can I be any more addicted?
Yeah, the book is very open. It's fascinating.
Can you imagine a friend you invited into your house that you know is making $20 million a year is like going through your shit and stealing it? Like
That's
crazy.
the whole thing. How did he end up like this?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's just predilection. I think it is it's in the blood or something. You know, it's what people have in them inside of them. You know,
the addiction gene.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, we've all seen it firsthand, but this was taken to a crazy level. And you think, you know, it's such a cliche that's just like, oh, it's a guy that had everything. It should be happy. And it just doesn't work out that way.
We're seeing like really the ending spurts of it. I'm sure the people close to him have been seeing this their entire life.
Oh,
and just,
definitely.
Like at
Since
some
the
point,
90s.
they write him off. They welcome back in their life. And, you know, it's kind of that seesaw back and forth of like not wanting to deal with him. You know, just because it's just like you see, you know, it like a slow motion death, you know, in front of you your entire life. It's very hard to look at sometimes.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Just like a slow motion crash.
Yeah.
That you're just witnessing for years. And it sucks too because it's easy to write off addicts that are just assholes and you're like, oh, go fuck off. But it's like a nice guy. Everybody loved him. So like that's what makes it so tough.
Exactly.
Is that you want this guy to get help because he's such a fucking good person and always making people laugh and always has jokes. And it's like that's the tough ones.
Yeah. And the book, there's not a lot of flattering things in it. So he's willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And he said that was his crusade at the end, to help as many people as he could. Because he admitted because he was Chandler Bing, a lot of people were interested in what he had to say.
Yeah.
And I applaud that because, you know, some of the stuff he writes that he did, I wouldn't write that about myself.
Yeah. Well, that lets you know he doesn't have too big of an ego. And that also plays to the fact that he was a likable person because, you know, people who are able to talk about themselves in a reflecting type of way are not generally assholes. There's like, this always comes up, and I've talked to people about this. There's like implosive addicts and explosive addicts. So like, if you're a fucking booze hound that just gets mad and you throw everything and you beat people up, like those are the explosive types. The same level of hatred you have towards other people when you get like that, when it's an implosive person, you're just doing that to yourself inside.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part.
There's some people that like they ghost ride their cars into people's houses and shit.
Yeah.
And like there's other people that just, you know, and like will just drive a car over their own chest. You know,
exactly.
That's the difference.
Yes.
They, you know, they're not trying to hurt other people or the entire world. It's just kind of inward.
Yeah, they're just thrashing themselves inside.
Well, the only person he was not looking to help was Keanu Reeves, who he got some flack from the book for saying that Keanu Reeves should have been the one who died and not
that's right.
not River Phoenix.
I forgot about that.
He meant it more as a joke.
Yeah, he didn't mean
How is Keanu Reeves still here and yet River Phoenix is dead?
Which is also a joke that he pretty much took from Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Because Bill Hicks would always joke about, like, you know, all the good music. John Lennon's dead, but the new kids on the block are fucking thriving.
And then Dennis Leary took that joke and said, "Why is Ted Kennedy the only Kennedy still alive?"
Yeah.
He much like he took a lot of the act of Bill Hicks. He's like, "Why the fuck is this Kennedy still alive?" You know,
Yeah.
all these other ones just like, I don't know. Yeah, Dennis Leary, fuck off.
That was the industry joke about Dennis Leary. It was like, because the name of Dennis Leary's first special was No Cure for Cancer.
Yeah.
And Bill Hicks died of cancer. So they would say, why does Dennis Leary have a career and Bill Hicks doesn't? Because there's no cure for cancer.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
It was almost word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just steal a lot of shit. And his old like mannerisms and stuff.
But yeah, Matthew Perry was trying to mirror that joke, definitely. But it was the wrong person because Keanu's also another person that's like super beloved off screen.
It was odd.
Yeah.
And Perry appeared with Phoenix in the movie A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon in 1988.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that movie. Maybe he really pissed him off or something. Or no, the opposite of that. Maybe he really liked them, and maybe he's like that. That's a really talented guy, and I see big things for River.
Oh, for River? Yeah, he loved River.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He was lamenting that River had to die, and yet someone like Keanu lived.
Yeah.
Maybe because he disrespecting him because of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's why he's like, has a.
There may have been some beef. Who knows?
Yeah.
What would he have a problem with that for?
I don't know.
Just that he didn't like the movie?
No, but he thought it's like not considered
It's not acting.
art house acting. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Art
neither
house
is
movie
Friends.
Exactly.
And neither is the whole 9 or 10 yards.
Well, I remember hearing the story of Matthew Perry wanting to become, like, he did want to become a bigger movie actor than he was.
Yeah.
And obviously he didn't need the money, but he just wanted to, like, sink his teeth into, like, bigger and juicier roles. And I remember he said this on this BBC show. He was, like, a talk show. He was telling the story about one night, and I think it was New York. He was, like, drinking out on the town, hanging out with all these filmmakers and stuff after, like, some big showing of a movie or something. And he comes upon the director and writer M. Night Shyamalan.
Hot off of the Sixth Sense.
Hot off of everything, yeah. Before he started taking that downward dip, I think, in his movie making.
Yeah.
And he's like, holy shit, he's hanging out. They're going bar to bar, like
partying, shit-faced.
Yeah, shots, you name it. They're painting the town red.
Yeah.
It's a montage.
Yeah, exactly.
Of them taking shots,
Yeah. Yeah.
holding each other up while they
Yeah.
throw up.
They're listening to Flo Rida or something. They're really killing it in New York.
I'll hold your hair.
Yeah. They're like best of friends. M. Night Shyamalan and Matthew Perry are like the fucking best new power couple in Hollywood. And that he's already, cashing the checks. And next thing he knows, he is going to the bathroom. He's already blackout drunk. He bumps into a friend. And he goes, "Oh, I'm just hanging out over here with my new friend, M. Night Shyamalan." And his friend looks over in the corner. He goes, "That's not M. Night Shyamalan."
That was the twist.
That was that, as they call it, the twist.
It's actually Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. He was way off. Yeah. It's like not even an Indian American.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the way the story ended was that he saw M. Night Shyamalan and was like, "Remember, we fucking..."
Oh,
he was
that,
like,
yeah.
"No."
Yeah. Well, he told it that other. I'm sure he had 8 different ways of telling the story, but
His
none of them make him seem like a good. Like he was like a. Like the great person in it. He was like, that's why I think, to your point, Kyle, he didn't mind making himself look a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
If it was
Even
for
telling that story, that
for the
would make him
greater
look like
good.
racist, but he was
Yeah,
just
maybe
a shit-faced
racist.
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like
and
that-
he's on British television
Right.
telling this story.
It was really Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah. It was Aziz Ansari.
No, those are the funniest. People every once in a while will like post on TikTok or Instagram saying like, "Oh my God, I had the best night with this celebrity. Then I realized it wasn't them. Who the fuck did I meet?"
Yeah.
Another interesting story from his book is that he was very good friends with Craig Bierko in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. Bierko. I remember him.
And so they would parade around LA. They were going for the same roles, all that jazz. And Craig was actually offered the part of Chandler on Friends.
Oh,
Wow.
man. I could see that, actually.
And then he turned it down.
Oh, man. That would be one of those that like a kick in the gut. Like, what the fuck did I just do?
And
Yeah.
so Matthew said, I'm going in to read for this too, and he gets the part, and Craig resented him for years.
Wow.
Really?
What, you fucking turned it down.
Well,
It's not like he like set up some like Machiavellian like scam to like make sure he couldn't make it to, you know, the
Yeah.
casting call or anything. It's like,
You cannot be upset with someone over something like that, because if you're invited to do the pilot, you're not necessarily going to be the person that's cast in the role.
Yeah.
This was a big thing actually during the creation of Full House. They originally had this guy who was a stand-up comic, and he's like, you know, clean cut, and they flew him all the way. He was like living
Sam
in,
Kinison.
He was living in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah.
And he got flown in to do the pilot and played Danny Tanner. And they had like this huge overall deal for him and paid him a bunch of money, and they're like, you're going to be the next guy. They did the pilot, and they were like, this pilot sucks with this guy. And then they recast him with
So
Bob
crazy
Saget.
how one role like that can just like
Yeah.
really drag down an entire show.
There's footage of the actual pilot that's out there, and they show the contrast between this guy and Bob Saget. And Bob Saget obviously
Blows him
so
up.
much
It's great.
just destroys this guy.
His acting job. Yeah. No, but it's just like how he is, how Bob Saget was. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like he's like, you know, really like doing like the Joker or something. It's just him being himself.
Yeah, this guy John Posey was the original person. He was
No relation to Parker Posey.
yeah. So to my point is that even if you get the role originally, you're not getting the role. You're getting the pilot.
Yeah.
And so why hold it against Matthew Perry for actually getting it?
Because they would have
Like,
probably realized anyway, this isn't the right guy, and then reshot it with Matthew Perry.
Yeah, that Matthew Perry is that. They are all that character. Like there's nobody that stands out that you're like, oh, that's not the person. Like that dude created that character with his acting style and his quirkiness and his fucking wittiness in timing. He was great.
and I enjoyed Craig Bierko, but yeah, I cannot picture him as Chandler.
Yeah.
But that entire casting of Friends, you know, say what you will about the show, it's all amazing.
Oh, it's perfect.
It all makes it really click. And
Yeah.
there was an art to casting and to pilot, in, you know, like multi-camera TV series. Now they just throw them together because they haven't had one work in so long that they're like, this isn't going to fucking work anyway. So why are we even bothering making a multi-cam sitcom?
Yeah.
Sensation is an understatement for Friends, because even Jennifer Aniston's hair
Yeah.
was
People
all over
copied
the
it.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Yep.
And then now, Gen Z loves Friends. Friends is still a thing.
Yeah.
That is so rare.
And as time goes on, multicam sitcoms are a tough sell for younger people. Like it seems like such an outdated format.
That's
And-
such a weird dynamic that kids now are looking into that. Like my generation wasn't watching Taxi and like, yeah, like I'm getting into this now.
Yeah.
Because it was not that good.
Taxi was great. What are you
No, I
talking
know,
about?
but
Thank you very much.
but I'm not gonna
Let go.
overpraise it either.
Yeah. It wasn't as slickly done, maybe. It was a little rough around the edges.
It was better than the movie Taxi with Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah. That's for sure.
yeah. Jimmy Fallon's
Not related.
just drunk as a skunk.
Maybe I'm poisoned by Andy Kaufman's interpretation of Taxi,
Yeah.
where he
Of
makes it seem like the worst corporate commercial.
Yeah, I think so. I think he did make it seem like by now, like that would be, you know, a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
But I even saw a young person on YouTube saying that they watched the entire series of Friends and they did this intense analysis on why it's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our listeners commented that they've watched it 9 times in a row. Like
9 times.
from front to back. 9 times. They Jeffrey Jones'd
Yeah.
the Friends series 9 times.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember in college, there was this friend. She was like, oh, I just rented the Friends DVDs and I've been watching season 4. And it's so interesting to watch back to back to see the arc of Monica and Chandler.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what are you, nuts?
A lot of celebrity. Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you analyzing that for?
You're choosing to watch Friends on DVD? But I'm in the minority. And I don't dislike Friends. I'm just not a friend head.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
You ain't no friend of theirs.
So many celebrity spots there. Like Brad Pitt was on it once.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was
Future
cute.
husband of Jennifer Aniston.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they met there.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
And she dated Matthew Perry for a short time.
That's right.
And he
Yeah.
broke up with her for the hell of it, he said.
Really?
He had no reason why.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Just to see what you do.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
kind of crazy life he had.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Giovanni Ribisi.
Scientologist extraordinaire.
Before he was writing letters of support for Danny Masterson.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Shit list.
Shitless.
Kathleen Turner as Chandler's dad.
Elliot Gould as Ross's dad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That did cause controversy, Kyle.
I'm sure it did.
Because it was a trans woman
Yeah.
Oh.
played by Kathleen Turner.
Wow.
And you can't do that these days.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no one from that cast really did anything except for Jennifer Aniston. So
Well, Courtney Cox.
she did Cougar Town.
Yeah.
she did David Arquette, if you know what I mean.
Whoa.
Courtney Cox became the staple, one of the staples of the Scream franchise,
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
which we talked about in another Patreon short.
Coming out. Yeah.
Gail Weathers.
Gail Weathers. Yeah.
Recently in Scream 6.
Yes.
Jennifer Aniston, huge movie career.
Yeah.
Lisa Kudrow, what is she up to?
She did a great show called The Comeback, which was amazing after Friends.
That
But
was funny.
The word on the street is there was an HBO executive that hated her or hated someone else affiliated with the show and canceled it, even though everyone loved The Comeback.
Wow.
So they waited 10 years and then they brought it back then.
That was an HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
wow.
funny. And she had a catchphrase, I don't need to see that.
I don't need to see that.
Wait, is that for real?
Yeah. But it was supposed to be cheesy.
Yeah.
What's the show about?
It's about a has-been actress trying to make a comeback
Oh, wow.
on a reality show.
Yeah.
So it's a mockumentary style.
Was she like a sitcom star
Yeah.
in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense to have a catchphrase then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
I don't need to see that.
The first season superior, I think, to the second.
Yeah.
But both very enjoyable.
Very nice.
And then Matt LeBlanc,
Yeah, had that TV show.
Ed, the movie
Yeah.
where the monkey plays baseball.
No, but he had the Joey LeBlanc show too, right?
The Joey LeBlanc show.
Or
It was
someone.
just Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Joey, like just Ken.
Apparently that was terrible. The show Joey. It didn't last very long.
No.
It lasted, though, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
still,
It was
for-
probably originally greenlit for 2 seasons and they were like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
that was an expensive disappointment.
I'm sure.
Oh, good.
That was supposed to be the Frasier of
The
Friends.
follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thought everyone loved Joey and how you doing. He's just
How
gonna
you
say that 5 times, a show, and yeah, people go nuts.
And Schwimmer was the original breakout heartthrob, starring in such theatrical sensations as The Pallbearer.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll be a pallbearer for.
Jesus.
What?
Yikes.
Well, he's got a He's got background.
Then he went on to direct movies like Run, Fat Boy, Run, and a anti-pedophile movie called Trust.
Yeah, he's all over the map with everything he's done.
And he played Robert Kardashian in the O.J. Simpson.
He was great in
miniseries.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't stand him in that because he kept going, Juice.
There was a
What's
dr-
going on, Juice?
There was a drinking game going online saying every time Schwimmer says juice, take a drink and you'll be fucking black.
I couldn't handle it.
You'd be as drunk as
And then-
Matthew Perry by then.
Whoa!
And then John Travolta's eyebrows like this. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it was crazy. I love it though. It's typical Ryan Murphy. It's over the top.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say about that. He was on Curb. David Schwimmer was on Curb. Once.
Okay.
Oh,
That was
that's right, yeah.
pretty funny episode.
It was pretty funny.
Pretty friends.
All right, what else about Matthew Perry?
What a life.
Yeah. Again, we come back to the hot tub or the jacuzzi. Dead in a very nice neighborhood of Los Angeles. Still doing pretty well. And
I think
Legend.
that you said heart attack?
Yeah, they got a 911 call for cardiac arrest.
That is believable that it wasn't drug use because he did seem so ill.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was just, his bones were failing him.
Yeah, I think it's just an organ breakdown over the years.
We learned this with Carrie Fisher and numerous other celebrities that also partake in cocaine. Like, cocaine really does a fucking number on your heart. So even years after you've been sober, your heart's pretty much destroyed. And so a lot of people that do cocaine for years and years of their life rarely make it past their 60s.
Oof.
Yeah. And like we said, he had pancreatitis, which is crazy to be able to get out of. You can have chronic or acute attacks. Luckily, his was acute, but it could have been chronic and ruined him for life, and he would have died much earlier. So he had a lot of bullets that he dodged, but yeah, in the end, not great.
He couldn't dodge the hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been a tough last couple of years of Friends with him, like, just kind of going through, the early stages of his addiction and stuff, and just like, the cast and crew there that he was working with, like you were saying, Kyle, must have been rough.
Yeah, there was a clip I saw recently that I'm trying to find, and I can't find it right now, but it was during the Friends reunion, and I don't know if it was an outtake or what, but I'm surprised when they said he was dead at 54. I was like, holy shit, because I thought he was like in his late 60s.
Yeah.
Because in that, he was just so out of it. He didn't even know he was on camera. And like David Schwimmer or somebody else is telling a story, or Matt LeBlanc is telling a story, and he's sitting right next to him in one of those, studio chairs, and he's looking over at people talking in the background, and he's going, shh, shut up, shh, stop talking, he's talking. And they turn to him and they're like, you're on camera, right? And he's like, no. And he just looked so old and frail and out of it that
frail is the word.
Surprised that he was 54 when he died, because I was like, holy shit, he's got to be like 65 years old.
Do you remember in the show though when he would get like really skinny and then he would get like gain a lot more weight back? And
his face would get swollen.
Yeah, it would just change so quickly.
It fluctuated depending on whether he was into alcohol at that time or pills.
Yeah.
I remember being incredibly impressed with the other 5 actors. I just thought this was the best casting I had ever seen. We really got close because of that experience too.
Okay, I gotta ask, who's making the interview? Is that the girls?
And you're on camera.
I know I am.
Yeah, this is a 3-shot, I think.
Are you going to 3-shot seeing me do that?
I think so.
I look crazy. I look like crazy.
That just made my day.
I'm gonna do this while Matthew's talking. So.
The swim.
I thought I wasn't on camera, and we're hearing the other interviews. So I thought people were just talking.
Just do it to you every single time. This is like old times. I mean, this makes
girls
me feel like
totally upstaging the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that women watch porn now.
What the fuck was that?
That Louis?
Yeah. Yeah. So in that footage, like, he just seemed medicated out of it, and his teeth were clearly very overdone. They looked like dentures. I was like, he's got to be in his 60s now.
I know.
But he's only 54, which as a kid I would think that's old, but that's still like a fucking kid to me.
Sure.
Look at Schwimmer and LeBlanc.
They looked great.
They still look like themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's brutal.
Well, he also played Ted Kennedy in a biopic about Ted Kennedy.
Did he?
Yeah, he played Ted Kennedy in The Kennedys, a TV show about the Kennedy family. It's funny because he played Ted Kennedy and he didn't really have to change much or like.
No, just talk like this.
I just talk like this now.
I am Matthew Perry, but different.
I thought she was dead.
Oh my God.
I did not have the strength to pull her out of the water.
Not the movie with that guy, Jason Clarke or something, or one of those.
The one that was produced by Kyle's old boss, Byron Allen.
Oh no, that was
Chappaquiddick.
That was Chappaquiddick. Yeah.
Chappaquiddick, yeah.
Fuck that movie. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Whoa.
Comics Unleashed. You couldn't be more leashed.
Couldn't be more
Never
leashed.
felt more leashed.
Wait, the Kennedys after Camelot. Yeah, in 2017 he played that.
Wow.
Oh, that recent.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was the last of his acting. Was in 2017 with the Kennedys after Camelot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a show.
I didn't either. I remember just seeing the stills. I'm like, he looks like not that different than what he looks like in real life playing Ted Kennedy here.
Yeah, I mean, in 2017, it seemed like a great year. He had The Odd Couple, The Good Fight, and the Kennedys after Camelot.
Seemed
playing
like he was
Ted
back.
Kennedy, yeah. It's
And
like-
he looked like himself in The Odd Couple.
yeah.
There was a drop off, probably when his colon exploded,
Okay.
where it just took a toll.
Yeah.
Well, people do opioids for a long time, and they just, they're functioning drug addicts, kind of.
Kristen Johnson from Third Rock from the Sun was an addict.
Really?
She would do an insane amount of pills a day, as Matthew Perry said.
Wow.
We're talking like 50 painkillers at a time.
Holy shit.
I saw her
And
out on the picket the other day. She looked great.
Yeah, she's doing well now, but at one point she wasn't. Her stomach exploded. And she wrote a book about it called Guts.
No way.
Really?
No relation to Nickelodeon's Guts.
No.
Do you have it? Guts! We're to go to the leaderboard. Mo!
She considered that, but still named it Guts anyway.
Yeah. All up in them guts.
On purpose.
Yeah.
So that you'd Google Guts looking for Nickelodeon and finding her.
Instead of the aggro crag, it's her perforated rectum.
She should have called it Double Dare.
So I think that's all we got on Matthew
That's all
Perry,
we
unless you
got,
guys have
yeah.
more.
No.
I'm sure more will come in as, because we're still,
Yeah, this
it's
is
still a little fresh.
very recent development. Like I said, within the hour this has happened, so we don't know much. But
There's
we
still-
do know that we love Matthew Perry and his work.
We do.
Yes, absolutely.
We salute you.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely
And-
a big loss.
We'll be there for you.
The rain comes to fall.
Kyle's cringing over there.
Like, I'll let you guys take it from me.
Yeah.
That song was a big hit in the 90s.
The Rembrandts, it was like their only song.
Yeah.
Do you need another song?
And
Could you write a song that is bigger than
yeah,
that?
I have footage of me performing that song at Hampton Beach in New Hampshire.
Really?
Because they had like this walk-in like music video shop where you would go in and they'd give you all the
Like
sets
a,
on
a
it.
shop where they played Christopher Walken videos?
Yes.
I think I'd rather watch the Zapruder film.
If you're watching this, let me know if in your town
I said the Zapruder film.
you had a green screen music video shop. You could walk in with your friends and perform your own music video and get a VHS of it, because we did that.
No, we did have that. I think there was one in Natick.
There was one at Hampton Beach. I would go there every year for my
Oh,
birthday.
yeah.
And I have one doing Green Day when I come around, and Rembrandt's. I'll be there for you because that's what my sister wanted to do. So-
Well, we'll throw that on the Patreon or something.
oh, actually, we could because I have the
That would be good.
All
stuff
right.
now.
Another reason to join our Patreon.
Yeah, come check out me performing when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Could we be any more shameless in promoting our Patreon?
Yeah.
We cannot. So go over there, patreon.com/death and entertainment. But you already know that because this is Patreon only, right?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
we're gonna put it out there to the
Oh, fine. We'll give it to the peasants too.
Whoa. The plebes.
Oh, well, rest in peace, Matthew Perry. Here's a toast.
You did good, kid.
Yep.